This past week, as I sat in my office, I pulled out a book that I had received a number of years ago called Kitchen Table Wisdom. This is a book by a woman named Rachel Naomi Raymond. And Rachel Raymond is someone who is a doctor, someone who is very adept in talking about faith and spirituality. And in this book, she works to bring the two together in terms of what does it mean to live faithfully? What does it mean to live in the midst of the most challenging of circumstances? As a doctor, she is someone who is used to working with people who are chronically or terminally ill, but stands in that place of saying there is healing and wholeness available to all. And this doctor tells an incredible story about a man named Max. As she describes Max, she talks about this burly Midwesterner who comes in with his jeans and his plaid shirt and his big belt buckle. He comes in and sits down. He has been told that he has terminal cancer and doesn't have long to live. And she asks him about his life and what has brought him to today. He goes on to talk about how he's lost and gained 2 fortunes over the course of his lifetime. He's been married 4 times and probably had a few others on the side. He's been busy with earning his life, so to speak. And he's been very wrapped up in living, from skydiving to other crazy antics, as she would describe them. And finally she says, well, tell me, why are you doing all this? And he bristles a little bit. And she says, well, tell me about when you were young. She said that in that moment, this tall, burly man became like a child. And he talked about recalling what his parents had told him about his birth. That he was born premature. They didn't expect him to live. But his mother nursed him and cared for him and willed in him a desire to live and to live fully. On the other hand, his father was not so impressed with, as he described it, this runt. And growing up on the farm would make comments about, well, you know, what we normally do with the runts on the farm. So this man, now 63, stands in this place of living out this struggle between what his mother has instilled in him in living and what his father has always said about him. And this doctor saying, what are you going to do today? What is your witness? As we come to these texts for today, the first one from Deuteronomy is powerful and powerfully charged, inviting the people of Israel to select the course that they are to be about. Are you going to choose life? Are you going to choose death? What does it mean to choose life? And the writer expounds to say, to hold the hand, to draw close to the Holy One, to engage faithfully in community, to care for those on the margins, to be upright and good. Now, these are not the saving acts. The people of Israel have already been drawn in. They have been called and claimed and chosen by the Holy One. But this choosing life is a response to that call. What does it mean now to live faithfully and richly? On the other hand, there is those ways that lead to death and destruction, as the writer puts out there. Those places where people are wicked to those on the margins. in which they fall away, they let go of the rope that draws them close to the holy. And the writer is saying over and over again, where will you fall? With that invitation to choose life and live faithfully. So we go back to Max, who stands there in the doctor's room, struggling with the question before him of life versus death. And what does that mean? And the doctor says simply to him, I'm standing on your side as you choose life. And then Max gets this little smile on his face. And he says, well, then I guess that's 3 against 1. My mother and you and me. We are choosing life. And I'm letting go of the voices of my Father. A profound moment. That in that place, Max made a decision. And the doctor goes on to say that over the course of the next 8 years, Max lets go of the womanizing and the things that weren't giving him life. Max instead charges forward to live boldly and in new and powerful ways. He claims who he is, and he hears that voice over and over again saying, you are worth it. As a child brought into this world, as a 63-year-old man that is cared for and beloved. And the question is, how you live and what you do now. Now, this question of life and death, for some in our congregation, is very present. Whether it's chronic illness, or what some have deemed as terminal illness. Whether it's depression or recovery, every morning there is that decision of getting up and looking to choose life. And for each of us in this room, there is the opportunity to wake up to ourselves and to who God has called us to be as called and claimed and chosen people. And to say, you do not journey alone, but I am with you and I am inviting you to live faithfully, to care for those on the margins,